Welcome back to the Crossroad Pod with myself, Rachel Aitken. Now, this episode is going to be a great one. I say that about all of them, but I mean it wholeheartedly. We have the wonderful Joel Wood. He's got over 1 million followers across all of his incredible channels, a hugely successful content creator, UK-based actor. He is also a fellow podcaster of Happy Healthy Homo. I can't wait to get into this. We're going to be talking about school bullying and how he's thrived from the bullies, and where his next crossroad might be, with a few potential little gimmicks coming up into what his future might hold. So I can't wait for you to hear this. If you could please like and subscribe, we'd be so grateful. And let me know what you think. Joel Wood, welcome to the Crossroad Podcast.
Thank you for having me. This is exciting.
It's so exciting. It's so lovely to see your gorgeous big smile. Joel, you have an incredible crossroad story, which I can't wait to unpack with you. When I say the crossroad to you, there may be many, but what's the first thing that comes to you, your first major crossroad?
Oh, I think my very first one is probably, tell me if this is going too far back, but from school, where I was always really shy growing up, but I knew that I enjoyed performing. And it was this weird thing, because it was like, I'm quite shy, but I also get a thrill from acting in drama class. So when I was in year 9, about to achieve my GCSEs, I remember having a bit of a meltdown. So I was like, I want to do drama, but I think I'm too shy to do it. And so I went and spoke to my teachers, and they were all like, no, you should absolutely do it. And that for me then set me off on this sort of attention-seeking journey that I call myself an attention-seeking introvert, and that has been true in my life. So I think that was my first crossroads.
It's funny, actually, because lots of comedians are like this. They actually are very shy and struggle with like friendships and all of that kind of thing, but you would never think that when you're watching their gigs or even when you meet them in person.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I think for me it was this feeling of like, I am just shy, and I'm big groups of people scare me, and performing you'd think could be the worst part. But then when I tried it, because it was like being a different person, it felt like a new me. It was like, oh, when I'm there my lines and I'm on stage, I was like, this is so nice I don't need to be shy Joel. So it was sort of like separating myself out from, this is Joel off camera or off stage, and then Joel on stage. And I like having those two.
Yeah. How was school for you, Joel?
It was good. My overall sort of feeling of it was that it was good. If I deep dived into it, it wasn't great, because I was very badly bullied at school. But I haven't really dwelled on that too much. So school itself was great, with lessons, the teachers, and the friends I did have. But it was just, I couldn't wait to get home after lots of the days at school. Like break times and lunch times, they're the worst. But apart from that.
Every time I interview somebody, most people say to me they were bullied to some extent at school. And every time, that Scottish raging woman in me is like, who were these people? I honestly, when I see you now, you should be so proud of yourself and your successes. And you do mention that it can be a bit of a superpower later on. Could you unpack that a little bit for me? Like, what does that mean?
Yeah. Well, it's quite hard, because I think I have briefly maybe spoken about it on my YouTube channel years ago. And it's hard, I think, because the sentiment that I have found is that it has been really motivating in me being like, yeah, I'm going to prove all of you, you're all going to wish that you were my friend, that you weren't horrible to me. But then some people take that message to be, oh, so you're saying bullying is a good thing then? And, and I'm like, no, I think two things can be true at the same time. For me, it was very motivating. And in some senses, I'm glad I've had that experience, because it's given me the ambition to sort of rise above it and go above and beyond, which I feel like I'm hopefully doing and still going to do.
I believe you worked on a farm and then you moved your life. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so after school, I was working on a farm, which was really fun. And I suppose that would have been a second crossroad of deciding, I like this rural life. I love working with animals. I like living in this area. But I also really want to act, and I want to go to drama school, and all the best drama schools are in London, and maybe I need to go to the city, but I don't know if I like the city. And so that was the second crossroad, and I did do that and go on to drama school. And I lived in London for 11 years. So I was there working multiple different jobs to sort of support myself. I started social media in 2013, and then it didn't become a job until 2018. So I was working other jobs to sort of make that happen. But yeah, before meeting Keegan and, moving in with him and his kids and changing my life, I was just living a very selfish life in London, just doing what I want, when I want, hustling, working.
Yeah, I think that absolutely is the case for so many people. How was your London experience? Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, I loved it. I love London so much. And whenever I go back home, family members would be like, oh, I don't know how you live there. It's so busy and it's this. And I was like, I just love the busyness of it. I mean, I lived in Putney towards the end. I've always lived sort of southwest and west. I lived east for a little bit. Never lived North London, but it was nice to have a reprieve and be able to go out into the suburbs a little bit. But still, it's still chaos. It's still busy. But I just found that quite romanticized, really. You see it on TV of people going there to achieve their dreams, and that was what I did. I moved to go to drama school and become an actor, and that hasn't quite happened yet. But I'm doing it, I think, now, sort of a branch of acting or performing, I suppose, the 2025 version.
What were you doing when you were down there? Did you get some cool opportunities on the stage?
The biggest one was at Shakespeare's Globe. So I was there in 2014, which was terrifying. It was actually not for a Shakespeare play. It was the centenary of World War II or World War One. I can't remember. I think it was World War Two. No, it wasn't. Anyway, don't quote me on that. A centenary of one of the wars. And so they had a very renowned playwright write this show. And I was in that, and yeah, as I said, terrifying. All the seats. I don't know if anyone listening to this have been to the Globe, or if you've been to the Globe, Rachel, but it's quite an intense experience. The audience feel like they're sort of on top, glaring down at the stage.
I have been years and years ago. My husband is like an absolute Shakespeare nerd. You can still stand, can't you? Like you used to back in the day.
Yeah, so you've got the pit in front of you with everyone that's standing. And then, yeah, the seating, there's maybe 3 tiers or 4 tiers of seating going pretty much all the way around, not quite 360. But yeah, it's a bit terrifying. I remember my knees like shaking on the first night and I was like, stop.
What's like directly sticking in my mind is the content creation. We've not even touched upon it because you are hugely successful. Like Joel is absolutely incredible. Over 1 million followers. I know you mentioned it right at the start, but like, where is that in the mix? And when did you decide, I'm going to quit the farm job and I'm going to do this full time? Because I can imagine that's really relatable to a lot of listeners.
Yeah. Well, I think that the farm came quite a bit before. So after I decided to go to drama school, then I'd given up that farm life and occasionally gone back and done a few odd shifts here and there just because I missed it. But I'd moved to London, been to drama school, was doing jobs. I worked as an usher at the Wyndham's Theatre in London, selling ice cream, tearing tickets. I did promo work, so I'd do freelance jobs. People might say, go and hand out this smoothie at King's Cross train station for 6 hours. So typically handing out freebies or working at different events. So I did all that for a time. And whilst waiting for the phone to ring as an actor, the creative juice got flowing and just made a comedy short film with a friend of mine. And we put it online in 2013. And it went down really well. People seemed to really enjoy it. And I'm condensing it here, but from 2013 to 2018, when it became a full-time job, we'd just been making regular videos 3 times a week, chucking them up on the internet, seeing what people thought. And at the same time, I was aware that all these YouTubers were coming up, like Zoella and Alfie, her partner. And if you watch YouTube, you'll know all those names, Louise Pentland and Jim Chapman. They were all making videos and earning a living from it, and a really good living. And I was like, oh, this could be a job. So we sort of just kept hustling and hustling. I think one year, I think it was in, when was it, 2017, but we were like, we've been doing this 4 years now. It's still not earning money. If we want this to be our job, we really need to just like go for it this year. And so we did. And by the end of the year, we were earning enough for a full-time living. And then condensing it from there, I then went off on my own, did all my solo social media where I am now on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. And especially this year, it's been been a huge amount of growth online to me. And it keeps growing, which I'm very grateful for. But my life is just lived online now. I don't spend any time not on my phone or on my laptop.
How do you find that? I know you said, you talked about being more introverted, but living this kind of extroversion online. How is that? Talk to me about your mental health in that respect as well.
Well, I think firstly, you never really feel like, when you're filming on your phone, you never really feel like you're talking to, for me, between all my platforms, over 1 million people, it's me and my camera. So for an introvert, it's actually really good. And I have found that I think most content creators online are introverts. Or they certainly were back in the day. It used to be just weirdos, sort of putting their lives on YouTube, misfits, people who didn't have many friends. And the friends that they would find would be these strangers on the other side of the internet. So it used to be the early doors of influencers, before we were called that we were just a bunch of misfits that actually weren't very popular and probably introverted. Then that we'd go to events, we'd all be in a room just stood there, like, not talking to each other. We're all so loud online, and then we get in a room together and everyone's shy. So it is sort of an easy job, I think, for an introvert, because you're not actually having to talk to anyone. But I do find that it is very mentally draining. It's such an easy job when it comes to, physically, like, it's not hard at all. But I stand by myself when I say it is mentally, I think, a very, very difficult job. It's basically an online popularity contest. All these platforms are constantly rewarding you for churning out content. The more followers you have, the more views you have, the more money you'll earn. So you sort of get trapped on this hamster wheel, which is why my advice to anyone starting it is, like, you've got to love it, because you won't be able to keep up with it otherwise. And thankfully for me, I do genuinely love it, but it does take its toll on mental health quite a lot.
Can imagine. I really can. And how do you cope with the trolls?
Yeah, I think it's hard. I think when it's someone who's just going, I hate you, you're annoying, calling you names, that doesn't really bother me. I'm like, that's fine. But I think when you get very specific trolls who are very invested in your life, will say that they hate you, but then they comment on things, they send you messages, and I'm like, well, the behavior suggests you don't. It suggests that you're actually obsessed. But that baffles me. I don't understand why someone would hate watch someone online. If I don't like someone online, I just scroll away. Most normal people do. Yeah. But it's those people that I struggle with, because they watch everything, particularly on YouTube, where I blog my life, and they'll critique it. That's just what you see. That's not the case. I don't know why you're overanalyzing it. But then I do put my life out there, so you kind of have to expect that a bit.
Do you find yourself analysing the trolls, analysing those comments, but also I'd be interested to know, like, are you looking at the numbers? Because the number is so big now, do you look at that number? Is it still important to you?
Yeah, I think anyone would be lying online if they say that they're not looking at numbers, because, like I said, these platforms sort of train you with this, that they want you to be looking at numbers, and they'll give you contacts at the platforms and saying, this is your contact and they're going to help you grow. So they'll tell you all your stats, that you've had this much growth and this much. So it is naturally a part of what we do. But yeah, I try not to have that reflect on how I feel about myself, because it will only, at some point, it will go like this. I'm under no illusion that, hopefully I can sustain some kind of career in this industry, but you could be the flavor of the month 1 month, and then the next, people aren't interested. So I'm very aware that I don't want to tie my self-worth to numbers. Otherwise, I'm going to be in a very difficult spot one day. However, it is really nice to hit those numbers. For me, that's my only way of promotion. My friends will go, oh, I got a promotion at work, I got a pay rise. For me, my only promotion is if I get more followers, and brands start maybe paying me a bit more than they did a year ago. So I also try to celebrate those numbers.
You absolutely should. It's no mean feat. And you're also against a lot of content creators now. So you should be so proud of yourself, honestly.
Oh, thank you.
What does the next crossroad look like for you? Are you at one currently, or where would you like the podcast to go? Where would you like the content to go?
I'm sort of working on a few different projects. I just made a few comedy sort of sketches that got professionally filmed, and I've been posting them on my social media. That's gone down quite well. Just trying to maybe branch back, sort of doing a full MOOC background into acting. I don't know if it will happen, and I definitely want to replace what I do on social media with that. But it would be nice to sort of go back to how this kind of all began when I went to drama school back in 2011. To use that teaching and be learning at drama school a bit more, because I've always loved acting, and this job does fulfill me creatively, but it's not quite the same, and I would love to do a bit more.
Oh, I can't wait to see what your very bright future in acting will definitely hold. Do you have any dream guests for the pod?
I think Alison Hammond, I'd love to have her on. I love her so.
Gosh, you have to.
I just think she's also so interesting because I just think she has become a national treasure. And watching that from her being like a Big Brother contestant to being like the competition announcer on This Morning to then where she is now, I'm like, that's just so interesting. We've watched a national treasure be born.
Yeah, we have. You were so right. Like being on Great British Bake Off and all of the things she's done. It's absolutely amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, incredible. But I think people like that, I naturally am very drawn to funny people. So I'm really fascinated. Like you said at the start, with lots of comedians tend to be quite introverted. I'm also fascinated by that. Then the two sides potentially are these public figures who we think are so loud and gregarious, but actually maybe they're less so. So my guess would probably skew more comedy side.
We need to get Alison on for you, 100%. It's funny actually because Alison Hammond is also on my list of people I would love as well. I share my phone stats. You got your little notes on your phone. I absolutely believe she'll be on that for you for sure.
We'll do it. We'll do a back-to-back recordings.
Yeah, we won't waste your time, Alison. We'll be very efficient.
Yeah.
Joel Wood, thank you so much for joining me on the Crossroad podcast. A real privilege to have you, and I cannot wait to see, like I say, your very bright future continue to unfold. You are such a gem, and I can't thank you enough.
Oh, no, thank you. Thanks for letting me yaff on about things that I love to talk about. Me. So thank you. It's been great.
No, it's all so relatable, and that's the whole point of this podcast. The whole point of this podcast is to just find great relatable people where, you know, you have had so many different crossroads that I think a lot of our listeners will be able to tap into and feel inspired to just go for it. And that's the whole premise that I just want anyone listening who might be at their own crossroad and a bit nervous, maybe they're shy and introverted and thinking, oh, but why me? But my whole point is, why not you? You know?
Yeah. Well, exactly. And it always gives you fun stories to tell. Even if it's not fun in the moment, years later, it makes your life more colourful.
And that's what it's all about. You have to have a sense of humour in this life.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, thank you so much, Joel. You're an angel.